worst thing you should ever do is to begin to think about how to save money for a long time. It's your friend, Dr. Emmanuel Odigie. Yes, it's another wonderful day, another wonderful time together again. Yeah, today I'm here to talk to you about why things may never get cheaper. All right, I'm not here to prophesy doom. I'm not here to speak negativity. Of course, for those who knows me, they understand that I am, in fact, a lot of people call me, you can motivate a dead horse. All right, they use that also sometimes, to nickname me and says, you like telling people it is possible. Of course, that is just my own philosophy, and I believe nothing is possible and nothing is impossible, and it may seem impossible until it is done. All right. So, but however, with the kind of time we are living in, and of course, you could also agree with me that things over time has shown that this trend actually don't have a point where it's going to retract. All right. Yes, of course, it's a global inflation. It's something that is everywhere. All right. So we're going to be talking today on how do we thrive in a new economy like what we are having today. It's not just about Africa. It's not about Nigeria. It's not about Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia. No. It's a global issue. It's something that is happening everywhere, both in Europe, in Asia, in America, in Africa. It affects everyone. All right. And of course, while waiting may be one of the greatest mistakes you will ever make. You want to wait for price to go down. It may be one of the greatest mistakes you will ever make. We're going to be looking at this and a few other points on how we can thrive in this kind of economy. How do we move forward? How do we survive it? How do we even make significant progress in spite of what is going on? All right. These are many more we're going to be looking at tonight. I want you to like this video and share it. I want you to invite your friends. All right. Tag people. A lot of people, I'd actually, believe that, because things are not going to get better, or things are not going to get cheaper, things are not going to get better. No, that's not true. Things may not get cheaper, but things will definitely get better. Look at that. Things may not get cheaper, but things will definitely get better for you. All right. It's not just a prophecy, but it is the level of knowledge that you have that will actually put you towards, that particular track. All right. So I want you to just invite your friends, tell people about, that we are live. All right. We are here to discuss what exactly is going on. And let me know where you're watching from. Leave your name in the comment section. And if you're enjoying the video already, let us know that you are getting value for your time. I want to tell you a little story. All right. Growing up, of course, for those of you who've read my book, Hunger for Success, I actually put a lot of stuff out there, about my, upbringing and some of the challenges I faced. All right. A part of the things that my mother was doing then, she actually said petty stuffs, in the front of the house there. And most time when she go to the main market, she go to the market to buy these things, and she comes back. I often hear her saying, price has gone up again. Like, price has gone up, what's going on? Things are, I didn't buy this because price has gone up. I didn't buy it because price has gone up. So in my mind, I believe that maybe when mom will go next time, the price will come down. All right. But again, when mom will go back to the market and come back the next time, she will not say, oh, the price has gone. This is a new price of things now. Things has changed. So this has been the trend even from childhood that I could actually remember. All right. I'm 40 plus right now, and I can tell you the truth. There hasn't been a time, in a world where things that were actually sold at $10, now begin to get being sold at $5. Why is it like that? It is called inflation. And of course, in the part of the world where I come from, Africa, Nigeria, West Africa to be very specific, and Nigeria, you find out that things, price control is a major problem. Or prices are not being controlled, they are not being regulated like you have it in other parts of the world. So what tends to happen is that when people go to the market to buy these goods, some of them will buy it in stock, they will stock it down, and when they are going back to buy again and price has changed, what do? They increase the price of even the one in the stock. And some people call them wicked. All right. But I will tell you, because I've also traded and I understand how these things work. You know why they are not actually wicked? They cannot sell at the old price, because if they sell at the old price, they are going back to the market to buy at the current price. So they have to sell at the trading price. All right. So with this, you would understand that the possibility of price actually going down in the market for any commodity, whether foodstuffs, anything you can think about, is very, very rare. All right. Of course, there is no impossibility with God. But however, there is a better way. TD Jakes will say, instead of praying for God to allow the system of the bank where you have taken a loan to crash so that your debt will be forgiven or forgotten, why not pray for God to make provisions for you? All right. So that you'll be able to pay your loan and be a good credit, a good debtor. You'll be able to clear your loan and be in the good books of the bank. All right. So now, instead of waiting for price to come down, which from the analogy I've given to you right now, you will agree with me that the possibility of the price going down is very, very, rare. All right. However, there's a better way to live in this same economy, and you will make significant progress. That's what we'll be talking about tonight. All right. I'm going to be giving you 3 things that you could do. All right. And survive this economy and thrive very, very well. And you will not, it will look as if you are not even living in the same world with other persons. No wonder it's just as when men say there's a casting down, others will say there is a lifting. However, there's a level of knowledge you will have that will make you say there is a lifting. You're not going to fake it. You're not going to lie about it. You're going to say it, because actually you will be experiencing that significant lifting. All right. So now let's look at these 3 things. And before I go into these 3 points, I want you to like this video and share. I want you to invite your friends and leave us a comment and let me know where exactly you are watching us from. All right. Just like the video and share. Yes. Let's go over it again. Before I will give you this point, I want you to remember also, that one of the greatest mistakes you are going to make is to actually hold on what you're supposed to do today or what you're supposed to buy today, because you believe that price is going to go down tomorrow and you are waiting for the price to go down. That may be one of the greatest mistakes you will ever make. I'll give you a very practical story. I think it was in 2008, 2009, when I was actually just doing my major first project. It was at a certain stage, and the guy then, of course, we call them engineer, but of course we know they are not engineers, so we just also call him engineer. He came to me as engineer, so he said something. He said, the price has gone up. I said, no, okay, then we have to wait for price to go down so that we can actually continue the project again. Guess what? 2 weeks later, the same item I refused to buy at 1,300. I bought it at 1,800 with please after 2 weeks. All right. And now I'm talking about things I'm buying in quantity right now. You know what that means. You're doing a major project, you're buying them in quantity. So when you multiply that 500 by the quantity I was buying, I was actually making a significant amount of loss, because I refused to actually make progress because I wanted to wait for price to come down. A lot of you are in that shoe right now. Even recently, more currently, that should be 2018, 2019, was a project also I stopped because I wanted price to go down. So to be very specific, I wanted cement price to go down. But guess what? I struggled to complete that project at the end of the day, because why? I ended up buying the same material for more than ×2 of the same price I would have gotten it before. So waiting at a time where you are having hyperinflation to buy a commodity or to buy an item may be one of the worst mistakes you will ever make. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to buy, all right, and it is important you buy them, or it's something that you must buy. If you can afford to buy it today, just buy it. Because even you buying it today may actually save you. In fact, you may even deal on it and sell it at a higher price later. A friend of mine bought a Corolla some years back, and That was around 2.5 million. And the way to say that it's crown value, we are talking about six. I mean, someone was only price of 6 million or something. At a fairly used, a Nigeria used car already. All right, you imagine what that. I mean, you can imagine what that means. This is no longer a foreign used car. It's now a Nigeria used car. But because he bought it 5-6 years ago, he's now selling it at 6 point something million. You can imagine what we are talking about. So whatever you need to buy, just buy it. That is a one way to save yourself from this hyperinflation. The second point I'm going to give you right now is very, very important, and you must know this, especially for salary earners and those of you who are on fixed income. You must understand that while things and price of things are going up in the market, your salaries are not increasing. All right. Of course, the governments all over the world don't increase salary every 6 months or every 1 year. And sometimes some may not even increase for a very long time. What does that mean? As the hyperinflation is affecting the economy, you are even more affected because why? You are not going to be using limited resources to go get the same item you used to get at a higher price. So how do you make up for this difference? Let's give an example. For someone who's earning 100,000 naira in Nigeria, for instance, 10 years back was living like a big boy, all right? But now he may actually be struggling to survive with the same 100,000. What has changed? Hyperinflation. The cost of transportation to work, the cost of even recharging your phone, the cost of feeding, the cost of your shelter. And these things are basic necessity to survive. You can't do without them. But how do you now manage the same 100,000 and be able to thrive in this economy? Two things you can do. First, your work, I will assume you are doing an 8 to 5 work. All right, you're doing an 8 to 5 job. While you do that job, you must begin to consider a side also. Now, I am not saying you should take the employer's time and use it for your personal benefit. No. The side also we are looking at here is something that you can do when you close from your regular job. That is, when you close from your work, mind your business. Some of you, when you close from work, that's the time you want to say, oh, I'm very tired. I need to prepare myself. It has been a very hectic day. But can I submit to you, the owner of that company where you are working, most of them work nothing less than 13 hours daily. Some of them grind as much as 15 hours daily. So you that has been employed into the world, you want to work 8 hours and survive in an economy that is having an hyperinflation, it's not going to work. You must find a way to create a multiple stream for yourself. And there are several ways to do this. You could actually do, there's a lot of online, marketing platforms right now. I don't want to call any name, but of course you can actually call some of their names. You could do, there are a lot of tradings. I mean, I don't want to actually recommend anyone because of, this video. But if you actually go online and even go on Google and just say what to do with extra time, as a young man or whatever, you're going to find a list of things you could actually do with your extra time. One of the things you could actually also do with that extra time, because you must find what to do when you close from work. You could actually, if you have a car, you can actually use that car to do Uber. And if you don't have a car, you could even get a car on a hire purchase or something. While you close from work, you use that also as a side also. These things must come together. All right. That's one of the ways to increase your income, because the employers right now may not want to also increase the salary because they are also spending a lot on resources. The cost of managing diesel, for instance, in Nigeria is a whole lot, because there's no light in most of the offices. They need to buy diesel. Those are using solar. So the cost of power alone is killing on them. They can't pay you more because they are spending more on overhead. All right. Now, what is the other way to do it? The first thing is a side also. You could do it online. You could also do it physically. Physically, maybe you looking out for people who have product to sell and help them market it. Some of you just come online and all you do is to scroll through Facebook, looking for VDM, looking for the next story, looking for blessed CEOs and all of these people. These are wonderful guys. But listen to me. Use this same time to look for what to do online. There's a lot of trading platform that people are making a lot of money legitimately. All right. Like I said, I'm not recommending anyone, but if you go online right now, you could actually see a lot. Okay. Let me just talk about trading, like Amazon. You could actually trade, to have your own, site where people can actually come in and buy, and you just get a training of maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, and you already a dealer, and you get paid for it. You paid in dollars for that matter. So there's a lot you can do. Like I said, I don't want to go into specific. Now, what is the other thing? What is the other recommendation that you can actually use your time to do? Because some of us, I don't want to use the word lazy. Some of us are actually, we play with our time. All right. I will just go back to that side also. I remember when I came to Qatar so many years ago, and there was no job. Nobody knew this. Of course, I'm going to be telling my stories at some point so people can understand that Rome was not actually built in a day. All right. Now, we were more than 9 persons in the room. All right. I'm saying this for the first time online. And guess what I did? I went to a failing used market where they said printer. I bought a printer, and because every one of us were looking for a job, we need to do CV. So we normally go to shops to do CV. Guess what I was doing? I was using the printer in the house to print CV for people, and they were paying me 2 riyal, 1 riyal, and it was enough for me to feed for the day. Yes, I did that. All right. While that was going on, immediately after I got the first job and I lost the job, I bought a car, Nissan Sunny 2007. I started doing Uber. Yes. So don't, get stuck. Economy is not going to, the government of the world are not planning to make you better. You must be deliberate to make your life better. I hear people saying, oh, we keep blaming. See, I want to ask yourself, if you are over 20 or 30 years here and you are in Nigeria, for instance, ask me which government has ever been better. Which one? Since you were born, which one had ever been better? There have always been a case of, oh, let's look for a better government. Oh, let's go and vote and get a better government. What it means is that no government is actually planning to make your life better. You must become the government of your life to make your own life better. All right? So, like I said, the first thing you want to do, you want to get a side hustle. No matter where you are working, get a side hustle. And make sure you develop that side hustle into a business plan. That if you lose that job tomorrow, you don't ask to what to do with the money you are having in your hand. You already have a side hustle. You're going to put in more capital that will expand you. While working, don't put everything as though that work is all you need. You need to work, value the work, respect your employer's time, but get a side hustle. I went to school, while going to school and helping my brother in his business, I had a poultry in my father's backyard. All right? I had always believed that there's something you can do around you. Look around, there's something you can actually do. The next one, which is also very important. In an economy like this, the worst thing you should ever do is to begin to think about how to save money for a long time. I know, of course, I'm an advocate of savings. I've always said, if you don't save, you are not safe. All right? That's 100% correct. But I will tell you there's a better way to save your money. You don't save money by actually putting money into the bank and it's just there as a savings account. One of my mentor, Pastor Matthew Shimolo will always say it's a shaving account. That they're always shaving your life. All right. You don't put your money into a shaving account in the word of, Pastor Ashimolo, Matthew Ashimolo. All right. So you understand that why that money you want to save is in your hand. If you're able to gather to a significant amount of money, you can do 2 things with that money. You can look for a very safe investment. I use the word very safe because you are looking at that money as a savings. You don't want to actually spend the money. So you don't look at a very safe investment. That investment may not necessarily be you looking for a very big platform to invest the money. And one of the things you want to do is to start using the money to do all of these online trade, cryptos and all of that. You have to be careful that that has its own downside, all right? So you want to look for a very safe investment. There are I'll give 5 lists of very safe investment. One of them is bonds, government bonds, okay? Any country of the world. Shares are 80-90% okay. You have to do your research, do your own research, to decide if that is what you actually want, okay? But keeping in this savings account, and according to my mentor, a savings account is one of the worst things you should do in an hyperinflation economy. The other thing you want to do is you want to also convert that money. If you have people or a very good business plan, already existing business, or people who have reputation, you could invest with an interest, more like a loan to them, but you do it with an interest. But make sure such investment is documented. Don't do it out of trust. Oh, it's my brother, I think this 1 million naira. Hey, you give me. No. Make sure it is written down, it is documented, because anything can happen. All right, being human. So that's the downside of that. But the good side of that, you even get a better return than the bonds and the shares we've talked about. The other thing you can actually do, with that money that you are saving or you put over time, is to invest that money into a real estate. Real estate here, I must be very specific, into landed property. Now, while you're looking at buying land, there are three things I need you to look at. First, you don't buy land because it's in a city. Because a city today was a village yesterday. Most of the names of the cities you hear, they are people's village names. All right? Okay, for those of you, who are in Nigeria, you will agree with me. Most of the city names you are hearing today, let's say Bejuleki, all of these are names of villages. Okay? So you want to go to areas, of course, there are three ways to do this also. You can buy it through a trusted real estate company, or you can actually buy through a community board. Ensure that when you buy the land, you take possession. I'm going to be coming online to talk about how to take possession of your land, because a lot of people say, my land was stolen, or somebody. No, there is a way to take possession of your land, and that land cannot be stolen, except government. Of course, government is the only person that can override every security you put in your land. We see them demolish houses and all of that. Then the next thing, and I'm still talking about the real estate. I'll just give you a very simple story. My organization, for instance, Spotless Properties, we keyed into a project last year, 2024, November to be very specific. No, we didn't kill in November, we killed in December. Property in Conclave City was selling at 500,000 per 450 square meter. 500,000 naira. By December same year, that property was going for 1 million naira. Guess what? As we speak right now, the property is going for 5 million naira for the same 450 square meter. What has changed? There's something about land that people don't understand. Land is the only investment platform that you don't need to do anything on or do anything for, but it appreciates automatically. Even it doesn't matter where you live on the part of the world. Go and check the land where you are living right now. Maybe 10 years before that time, go and check how much that land was and how much it is right now. So why keep the money in a savings account or a savings account where you can actually bank that money on a land? It is called land banking. And it is only in land banking you can actually hedge against the kind of hyperinflation we are having in our economy today, whether in Africa, in Asia, everywhere. It is only in land banking you can actually hedge against such hyperinflation. Like I told you, imagine a property that's going for 500,000 November 2024, now selling for 5 million today. A friend of mine was, not quite happy with me. He spoke to me recently and said, man, why didn't you convince me to buy this land then? I was telling you I want to buy one. I said, sir, I told you like I told every other person. The only thing I would not do is to make it look like you buying it is you doing me a favor. As much as I am selling business, I make sure that the business I'm selling is not me ripping you off. It is you actually gaining benefit for what you are getting. So you ensure that you bank that money. For those of you who actually have land properties anywhere in the world, go and check how much was that land 5 years ago and how much is it now. I'm not kidding you. It is the only investment platform that inflation can actually not wipe away. All right. Now, coming back to how to manage in inflation time like this, you must understand that it doesn't, in fact, no government in the world is planning to bring the price of things down. Never. Whether in America, in Europe, Asia, everywhere, none of them is actually planning to bring the price of commodity down. And why? Because it's a global force. So you must now begin to plan your life and ask yourself, if God give me long life and I live up to 90 years and 100 years and I'm not earning this salary again, how do I survive the rest of my life with the cost of things now, and things price are never going to go down? How do I survive the rest of my life? These are questions you must ask yourself. And to answer those questions, you must begin to look for what can you start doing now. That when you leave your 8 to 5 job, that becomes your business. That becomes your job. That becomes your work. That becomes what you are doing. Can I actually tell you, you were not created for a job. There's something we're created to do. But because you don't know, or you have not been able to realize it, you think the job will help you achieve it. Of course, the job will help you if you know where you are going. But if you don't know where you're going, that job may just be another way to get you coming every time while you sell your dream for your employers. Of course I have employees. I'm not advocating for you not to work. I had worked before, but pursue your dream, pursue your goal, look for that thing. And I'll tell you the truth. You see, this inflation we are talking about, there are people that are never touched. And I'll tell you the set of people. They are businessmen, or you call them traders. I was one of them way back in Nigeria. You buy a commodity for 1,000 naira, and the price has changed to 1,500. I'll come back. The same commodity has maybe still have 1,000 pieces. Guess what? The price has changed. The price has changed. It will change his price. Guess what? He has more money now to go to the market and buy more. And most times they don't even change it to 1,000. They change it to 2,000. So they can have a markup in case they go back and the price has gone up. So when there's an hyperinflation, the traders, the business people make a whole lot of money. Haven't you wondered that many times when people want to protest against the government, the business people don't want that protest because it distorts their business. They don't want it to happen. Haven't you wondered why? Because it's working for them. It's favoring them. You can become one of them. Mind your business. Look for something to do that is yours. All right. Jacob said, it is time to do something for myself. There's always that time. Don't wait until you are tired and they call it retirement. Don't wait until that time. And I've studied with my little time on earth. I'm over 40 right now, and I can tell you there have never been one person that I know that retired, that doesn't look for a business to do. Some of them after retirement, they go into palm tree farm. Some after retirement, they go into poultry farm. The question is, why didn't you start doing this thing while you were working on a part-time so that this particular investment will grow with you? Because at retirement, your age and the strength and the energy you will put into the job will not be the same. And guess what? This is supposed to be your business. But why are you not taking care of it? Because you felt the job was secure enough. Even if the job is as secure as 100%, after 65, you'll be laid off. And they call it retirement. Please, the economy, price of things may not get cheaper. Prepare for the times. It is not a panic message, but it's to let you know there's a lot you can do to earn more, even in this hyperinflation economy. And guess what? You are going to make that massive progress if you actually, abide by some of these little recommendations that we have put up here. Till I come your way again, I remain your friend, Dr. Emmanuel Owodige. Except for those of you who actually still want, some properties in our estate, Prime Haven Estate, Conclave City. We're having a massive discount right now. That will put the license rate currently going for 5 million. We can actually give you for 3.5 million, including full documentations. Till I come your way again, I remain your friend. Stay blessed, stay wise, stay informed.